Hi, in this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 main resources in your dog's life that affect your relationship, and that when you control clearly and set clear boundaries and, draw lines with them, it helps clean up miscommunication and have your relationship be clear and trusting. And you need to do training in areas if you're having, behavior problems, but the daily routine and the relationship that you ongoingly have with them will be really much clearer when you are very aware where food, attention, and space reinforces mindsets and patterns. If you look at relationships between dogs, you'll notice that they don't fight for dominance. They get dominance once they have fought for control of a resource. Sometimes it's food, sometimes it's a toy, sometimes it's a person or a place, but dogs don't fight for dominance. They fight for control of something valuable. So if you are really clear to your dog that you control the things that they value, they will defer to you, and you don't need any force or coercion or emotional charge when you're dealing with your dog. You want to keep it matter of fact and, communicate to them, look, I own the food. I am in control of my own emotions, and I will give my attention when it's requested or it's earned. And this space belongs to me, and you were invited into this space when you are invited and you're not pushy. Food should be given twice a day. Nutritious meals, and then anything extra should really be given to reinforce behavior. If you're trying to shift and change your dog's behavior, then you need to use the food as a tool. So if they come up to you while you're eating your meal, anything that you do is going to make them think that they're getting closer. If you look at them and say, no, you can't have my food, or you tell them, or you push them off, anything, you want to fully be disgusted, turn away from them, and just keep eating your food. You just want them to know that pushing on me, asking me for food is not going to work. If you already have a history of this, it may take time for them to stop, but you gotta, really trust that don't reinforce their pushiness. Do not let them, get food when it's not earned. Wait. Okay. Good girl, Lola. So is it bad to feed your dog when you're eating? Maybe, and most likely, yes. It's something that I don't do. I'm not in the habit of doing it because I don't want it, one, to ever be an option, because then it eliminates a lot of annoying behavior around people and food and maybe guests. But it sometimes feels bad for people, because if you have a friend or your kid come while you're eating, it is a little bit rude, we think, to eat in front of someone and not offer it to them. But with dogs, it's not about being rude at all. It's just about showing your dog that you control food and using the food to shape behavior rather than giving it for free. And as far as food goes, there's no such thing as people food and dog food. Food is food. But if I'm having something like fish and I have a little bit that I want to give them and I want to share with them, I won't do it in that moment if I am shifting behavior that I need to shift, that I don't like. But if your relationship is smooth and clear, yeah, go ahead, and they're, I like to classify their behavior as a request or a demand. If your dog comes up to you and just is really polite and makes a nice request, yeah, go ahead and share with them. But if you need, if they're aggressive with other dogs, or they have separation anxiety, or they have, some difficulties that you're working through, no free food. But if you have something, okay, leftover fish, or sometimes when my kids are eating, I'll take their leftovers if they didn't finish, and I'll just set it on the counter, and then I reinforce, when they're in their bed, I'll be in the kitchen and say, hey, go to your beds. And then they do, yes. And then they get the treat. So you can use the actual food, but just be mindful of the mindset that the dog has the moment that the food is given. Another great idea is to use the food out on the walks, because it's when you have so many distractions, getting them to focus and check in with you is sometimes more of a challenge. So having a little bit more motivation with, extra food can be helpful to shape the walks. I think most people make the mistake of giving reflexive, unconscious attention to behavior that they don't like. So just remember, your eyes, your voice, and your hands, and even bending toward your dog should only ever be used for reinforcing good behavior. And then also, attention from other people and other dogs should be managed. So make sure you don't just let your dog drag you to say hi to another dog. Get their attention first by blocking them, and then let them say hello. So is it bad to sleep with your doggy? No, it's definitely not bad. It's such a great, fun, beautiful bonding experience. But if you have problems in other areas, like if you have complaints about your dog and your communication isn't clear with certain behaviors, you want to take advantage of this very valuable space to the dog and use it as a tool to help shape their mindset. Because it's not the actual, time of you sleeping together in the bed that's the problem. It's the free access to this space that could be the problem. So if you have any complaints about your dog's behavior and there's some miscommunication, find opportunities to reinforce patience with food, attention, and space, and to figure out where to get rid of the pushy, persistent mindset where they are getting what they want by pushing for what they want. Put in the daily practice with them that you get everything ready to go to bed, and you turn off all the lights, everything, and then you get in bed first. So Ted, come here. So you're done with everything. So you ask them to sit. They don't have to sit. Come here. Ted, come here. Good boy. Sit. Thank you. And you tell him wait, and then you get in bed. Thank you for waiting. Good. And then you say, okay. Good boy. I just strengthened his patience by giving him what he wants when he was patient. Yay, good boy. Okay, so what about letting them walk through the door ahead of you? Is that bad? Is it bad to let my dog out of the door ahead of me? Well, no, not at all. They're not gonna think they're dominant or that they're ruling you. But when you just let them push through the door, it's an opportunity you miss, because every time you make them wait, you're establishing that repertoire. Like, okay, check in with me. There's something out there you want, check in with me first. So I do it every time I go through the door. I'm just like, hey, remember, look up. Okay, let's go. We want to go out, but we want to use the value that's on the other side of the door to shape and reinforce a patient, passive mindset. So we ask them to sit. Can you sit? Thank you. Good boy. I won't ask her to sit because she's old, but she has to wait. Daisy, wait. Good. And then looking up at that, when they look up at me, it shows that they need to get valuable things through me. And so, trust and look up to me. So wait, and then look. Okay, good job. Thank you, guys. And they get the value outside, and I get the patience and the check-in from them. It's not about you dominating your dog and showing them that you're better and stronger, so they need to listen. No, it's about controlling their access to the valuable resources in their life. Food, attention, and access to valuable space. Like those three things you control, you will really be able to shape their behavior. Because sadly, they're better at training you than you are of them. They're way more focused on what, works for them and how to, you know, push and manipulate you, because they don't have a job or any other distractions. So just be really focused on where behavior is getting reinforced and where there are opportunities to get more patience. And when you really focus on that, and they happen daily, like every time you feed them, you have an opportunity to reinforce patience by making them wait. Every time you go out the door. And you know, it's not a bad and wrong thing if your dog walks ahead of you on the leash. It's bad if they're pushing hard and like really like, you know, pulling you hard. Then yeah, in those moments, stop and make them be next to you by, you know, not walking until they're next to you. And be persistent on them that they don't get to push for those things that they want. And that's what you want to look at, not look about like, you know, you dominating them. You know, it's you're just in control of the things that they want and need. So have fun with it and trust them and trust yourself in the process.